Yo, speak to me. Can you speak? Speak to yourself. Speak to you? Speak to who? Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking? You speaking? Let's speak about art. Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM.
My eyes are coral, absorbing your dreams. My heart is a record of dangerous scenes. My skin is surface pushed to extreme. But when will I turn and cut the world? When will I turn and cut the world? When will I
Bush Radio 89.5. I love this station.
Welcome to Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. I'm Camille, and this is Art Speakers. The last song I played for you was Cut the World by Anoni. And this song was written for the theater production The Life and Death of Marina Abramovic. The recording that you just heard is from the performance in the Teatro Real in Madrid. And Anoni was not just a composer, but she also was part of the cast, performing live on stage alongside Abramovic, who is a legendary performance artist herself. And there is also a video clip with this song that is really worth checking out. It's a video for Cut the World, and it features Abramovic and famous actor William Dafoe. The video takes place in like a chilling, slow-burning office scene, and that ends in a moment of violent and feminist revolt. So that's the story behind Cut the World by Anoni. Next up is Feel Right.
Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline. Everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline. Everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline. Everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline. Everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right.
Don't need a glass for this ring. We drinking from the pot tonight, don't you think? We turning up until the sun comes up. No frowns tonight, cause it's all about love. So make the bass a little thicker. Move your waist and then embrace with all your love. We out tonight to feel the energy inside. If you're with me, move your feet, don't run and hide. You got to feel it deep inside of you. You got to feel it in the rhythm too. You got to feel it in your soul. Get out of control. You got to feel it deep inside of you. You got to feel it in the rhythm too. You got to feel it in your soul. Get out of control.
Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline. just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline, everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline, everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right. Melodies in a bass line, shake your leg on your waistline, everybody just feel fine, everybody just feel nice, everybody feel right.
Control. 89.5 FM. 89.5 FM.
This is still Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. The last song I played was Feel Right by Summer Pearl. And today I'm joined by two very special guests. It aren't artists, unfortunately, but it are my parents. Could you quickly introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Christophe, father of Camille.
Hi, I'm Iris, the mother of Camille.
When did you arrive?
Yesterday evening.
And what have you been doing today?
We make a free walking tour with a guide. It was about apartheid.
And how was it? You like it?
Yes, I'm very interesting.
What was like one thing that stick with you, that you remembered?
We had a very good guide, and he told us about the languages, how it comes that some people speak English, the other African languages, and how come that some people speak Afrikaans.
Well, that's really interesting. Like, in which neighborhood was it again? Bokap or District 6?
Bokap, I think, yeah.
Bokap, okay. I still need to do that one. You will hear them later on in this show, as we continue with Push from Moses Yofi Trio. Speak to me. Can you speak? Speak to yourself. Speak to you? Speak to who? Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking? You speaking? Let's speak about art. Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM.
89.5 FM.
We go straight into our first segment of today on Art Speakers. It's time for Art News, where I give you some of the latest headlines from things going on in the arts this week. Firstly, according to artnews.com, Kevin Young, the director of the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., has been on personal leave since March the 14th and will remain absent indefinitely. This news comes amid growing political pressure, with President Donald Trump targeting the Smithsonian Institution, including the NMAHC, in recent executive orders. Trump criticized the Smithsonian's exhibition on race, monuments and culture, claiming they promoted anti-American ideology. In response, museums in Washington, D.C. are adjusting to administration's demands, including changes to their DIA departments. The situation remains fluid and the impact on the museum operations is still unfolding. There's some scary things going on down there. And then according to CNN, a long-lost painting by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt, thought to have been missing since 1930s, has been rediscovered and is now on display for the first time. The portrait of Prince William Ni Norte Duwumona, a representative of the Ga people, is present in present-day Ghana, was painted by Klimt in 1997. In 1897. The small portrait, which shows the prince in profile against floral brushstrokes, is currently showcased at the TEF AF in Maastricht art fair and is priced around $50 million. The painting was initially auctioned in 1923 on loan for exhibition in 1928 before it was vanished. And after that it was being discovered in 2023, like that's 100 years later. Then according to Art Times, a life-size bronze statue of the late Johnny Clegg has been added to South Africa's monumental Long March to Freedom exhibition. Unveiled on March 27 at Century City, the statue honors Clegg's significant contribution to both music and the fight for South Africa's democracy. Now, as the White Zulu is called, Clegg defied apartheid through his music and activism, promoting unity and racial reconciliation. His powerful songs, including Asimbonanga and Scatterings of Africa, became anthems of resistance. The statue joins other iconic figures like Nelson Mandela or Tambo, immortalizing Clegg's legacy as a triumphant artist and social justice advocate. And then lastly, in Neuchâtel in Switzerland, residents has now visited one of 4 local museums on a doctor's recommendation. So with cost covers by the local and regional government. This initiative, which has already been around 500 prescriptions issued, aims to provide relaxation and encourage physical activity for individuals with conditions such as depression, chronic illness, or mobility challenges. The project is based on a 2019 World Health Organization report highlighting the mental health benefits of art, including reducing trauma and lowering the risk of cognitive decline. The pilot program, with cost just around 10,000 Swiss francs, will run for 2 years, and if it's successful, it may expand to include other artistic activities like theater and dance. I think it's really interesting, like in sectors that go outside of art, who are using art as a tool to maybe help people. So now I'm going to the next song, and I'm gonna ask my father. You have 2 options. It's my favorite song. It's Stranger Than Fiction by Moses Boyd. Or we can play K Tempest with Statue of the Square, which is the latest song of K Tempest.
I really like K Tempest.
All right, then we go for that. Here is K Tempest with Statue of a Square.
Well, either I'm not ice on the eye, or this person that's passing me by has never seen one like me before. We endure it, keep reaching for it, knee deep we keep pouring life force in a formless void. We're too gorgeous to off the whole street when we walk. Are you transported? I cherish the ones who support us. Fear takes from us, but love restores us. You are not the sum of the things you do wrong in the eyes of someone who does not understand you. It's not a disorder or a dysfunction discussed in the way they discuss us. But just cause a person's not decent to me don't mean they're not decent to someone. The norm is not normal. It's a construction designed to stifle the inner life and increase production. They never wanted people like me round here, but when I'm dead, they'll put my statue in the square. They used to tell their children not to stare, but when I'm dead, they'll put my statue in the square. Yeah, they're 10 a penny, we're rare, and when we're dead, they'll put our statue in the square. They can shake their heads in despair, but we've been there from the start and we ain't going nowhere. Spent my life trying to do things your way, normal didn't feel right. Trapped in a shrinking hallway, till it got too tight. Deep breath, fresh air when I broke the surface. Yes, we've all lost lovers, what's sad is a lost purpose. Reclaim it, reframe it, rename it, something more fitting. Contain it, champagne it, complaining never did nothing by hitting the ground. Running's a start, hold your position. Tape it up, tuck it and love it beyond condition. Watching the city surrender to rain. I remember to live is to change. I don't pray for the end of my pain, I pray for the strength to weather it. Pause on the brink of a gaping precipice, hesitant, derelict, slow from the sedative, terrified people never stop asking where the treasure is. I'm like, everything's relative, so don't be surprised when they shield their eyes. What they fear is a reflection of their own minds. They reveal themselves in their dead headlines. It's fine, we don't need permission to shine. They never wanted people like me round here, but when I'm dead, they'll put my statue in the square. They used to tell their children not to stare, but when I'm dead, they'll put my statue in the square. Yeah, they're 10 a penny, we're rare, and when we're dead, they'll put our statue in the square. They can shake their heads in despair, but we've been there from the start and we ain't going nowhere.
Radio 89.5. I love this station.
Yo, speak to me. Can you speak? Speak to yourself. Speak to you? Speak to who? Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking? You speaking? Let's speak about art. Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. Now we turn to this week's interview. Each week I speak to someone in the art sector and talk about their work and perspective on accessibility to art. Until now, I always spoke to people from organizations in South Africa, which has been super interesting. But this week I spoke with Aline Van Nereaux, who works as a public worker, you could say, at S.M.A.K. It's the Contemporary Art Museum in Ghent. And I spoke with her because I haven't yet come across a real department specifically with audience engagement in a museum or theater in Cape Town. I maybe still need to look more into that. And that's why I thought it would be interesting to hear about her job and perspective. Here she comes. Hello, Aline, how are you?
Hi, Camille. Fine. I'm great. Thank you for asking.
That's great to hear. Could you maybe start with telling me about your role as a public worker in S.M.A.K. And what it involves on a daily basis?
Well, maybe I should first introduce S.M.A.K. It's the Museum for Contemporary Art in Ghent. And I'm, the best translation is the public worker, maybe. I'm responsible for everything we do with which involves the public. This could be workshops, the education, information for schools, the different collaborations with partners in the community of the city, but also at S.M.A.K, because we are a municipal museum, we have a strong responsibility for the society. And this is why we set up our project of S.M.A.K Moves in 2015. And S.M.A.K Moves is especially projects for people who are not able or not usually connected with contemporary art. and it focuses on active participation, creating together with artists and giving these people the opportunity to share their voices and opinions about the topics that are presented in our exhibitions and to create their own art projects.
And could you maybe dive deeper into how S.M.A.K Moves aims to make contemporary art more accessible to the diverse audiences?
Well, S.M.A.K Moves, it's always starts with a conversation. We collaborate with different organizations and partners who are already connected to groups of people. And then we start our conversation about what do you need? What do you want? How would you like to visit S.M.A.K? What are your expectations and so on? And then together we come to the guidelines of a project. And then we connect the group with an artist or with a collective of artists. And then we start to create. So it's something that we always do in collaboration, in participation, and it's by people and not for people. So it all starts with the public self and not from the institution.
And could you maybe give some examples from previous collaborations?
Yeah, sure. Well, we have a lot because we are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. But it goes from small projects, like we have a class group of children between the ages of 11 and 12, and they are called our ambassadors, and they visit the museum and they talk with artists and with the curators of the exhibition. And then they come up with an idea of a mediation tool for children to look at the exhibition or to explore the artworks. So last year, our ambassadors made a game of bingo for an exhibition, but they also made an audio guide. So it's not me who says, oh, you have to make this. They come up with the idea themselves. In a larger scale, we, for instance, collaborate with the organization for the visually impaired. And they were working on an exhibition together with a lot of different artists about their connection and their experience of day-to-day life. And they were looking for more of a professional guidance in how can we make this project more accessible for everybody? How can we make that people hear our stories? So we made room in the museum for their artworks and then invited a lot of other people to come and see or explore their artworks. And then something else which we always do is really create together physical artworks. So at this moment, we are opening an exhibition about painting, and we selected one of the artists from the exhibition to go and talk with groups of young people, with high school students. And together with him, they have made a very large painting about the topic of success in social media. And they made videos which will be integrated in the installation together with the paintings. And next week, together with the opening of the museum, this artwork from the high school students will be presented for every visitor.
That's nice. What are challenges or difficulties? Maybe there are two different things for you as a public worker and for S.M.A.K as a museum that you face in making contemporary art accessible to such a broad range of audiences.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of difficult moments in our work. I think the most important one is that the perception of contemporary art, that a lot of people think it's not for them, that they are afraid of it and they think that they will not be able to make a connection, and they have the idea that you have to have a lot of knowledge to have an opinion about contemporary art. And they are afraid other people will think that they are stupid because they don't understand it. And for me, the biggest challenge as a public worker is to help people realize that they are allowed to think what they think, to feel and experience what they think, and that it's valuable, also, even if it's not the same as the professional or the art critic or the one who has a lot of knowledge and experience. So that's the biggest challenge in my mission, to help making contemporary art accessible for the public. But another difficult part of my job is to explain to artists and curators that this is important, that we exist for the public, and that we have to listen to them, that their opinion matters.
And how is your envision to the future of S.M.A.K Moves? What are your goals that you hope to achieve in the next few years?
Well, my goal for S.M.A.K Moves is that we, on the one side, that we are no longer necessary, that this is such an integrated part of thinking and the mission of the museum that everything is S.M.A.K Moves. And for me, it's already that way. Everything is S.M.A.K Moves, but all the colleagues have to think this as well. And then the second one is we are looking forward to building a new museum. And I would like to have one of our biggest S.M.A.K Move projects to be collaborating with all the different communities of the city to create this new museum. So, and then I think the first part will happen spontaneously, I think.
And I was also thinking, how have you seen public working in museums or in the art scene in Belgium, seeing it evolving? Because it's a kind of new profession. How is it evolving over the few years?
I think it's evolving at different speeds in different institutions. But I remember when I first visited a museum of contemporary art, that you had guides for children, and they guided me. And it was very playful and nice to have the opportunity to think and talk about and play with art. And then a few years later, when I was a teenager, then we had to walk with a guide. And then it was all in 1954 and all this big information dump. And now I think the museums are involving that participation and mediation, education, all these things are not only for children, but this is something that everybody needs and wants, to have some sort of play and doing things while they're visiting the museum. And also that the museum cannot longer exist alone. So it's not the guide who has all the knowledge or invents the games, but it is something that the museum can learn from the public. So it's two-way work. Yeah.
And lastly, what advice would you give to other cultural institutions, also outside of Belgium, looking to make their programs more inclusive and accessible to diverse audiences?
Well, I think this question is very easy to answer, but very difficult to do. That are the best questions, I think. You will have to start to listen. I think it all starts with listening. And if you do something that nobody has interest in, or this is not what they need or want, well, then you didn't listen, and it will not have the desired effect.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Aline, for the interview, for the insights. It was a pleasure. Are there any last words you want to share with the listener?
It was a pleasure for me as well, Camille. And for me, it is, if you want to go to a museum and you're not sure that you will be welcome, I will hope that you will find the courage to go and just do your thing and look at the art, enjoy it or not enjoy it. This is all valuable. So just go.
Amazing. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was Aline Van Nereaux of S.M.A.K, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Ghent. I found it really, really interesting to hear her explain about young ambassadors of S.M.A.K, because it's very similar to the crew of Bush Radio. This is a group of children between 8 and 18 who started here a few weeks ago to learn about radio and also will eventually make their own radio program. And it will go live next week, Saturday, in the morning. So make sure to check out at Bush Radio on Instagram and on X, and at Bush Radio 895 FM on Facebook and TikTok to get more info and things about that. So yeah, that was the interview of this week as we continue Art Speakers with Moses Boyd with Stranger Than Fiction.
FM.
You are tuned into Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. I'm Camille, and it is time for Art Beyond Borders, where each week I tell you about an artist from South Africa who I discovered this week. And after that, I will link the artist to a Belgian artist. And so in that way, we can learn from each other. But today, I'm doing things a little bit differently. I only got one artist for you, and I will tell you why later on. His name is Kendall Geers. Geers was born in a working-class suburb on the East Rand outside of Johannesburg in South Africa to Dutch white parents. His mother left the family when he was just 5, and he was raised by his strict ultra-right-wing father. From a young age, Geers rejected the apartheid system his family supported, and at 15 he ran away from home to join the anti-apartheid movement. And then he got arrested multiple times, and eventually in 1989 he refused to serve in the South African Defence Force, which led him to go into voluntary exile to avoid a prison sentence. And then he spent time in London and New York, where he worked alongside artist Richard Prince. And in 1919, after Mandela's release, Geers returned to South Africa and began making art that was deeply connected to his personal and political history. And one of his most famous works is Bloody Hell. It's also from 1990, where he ritually washed his body with his own blood to confront the guilt of his Afrikaner heritage. And Geers' early works were highly political and often used dangerous materials like broken glass, barbed wire, and explosive to challenge power structures and societal injustice. His work questions apartheid, violence, and moral contradictions in South African society. And then in 2000, Geers moved to Brussels and became a Belgian citizen. And that's why he's the perfect combination for Art Beyond Borders, because I always talk about the South African and the Belgian artist. But now he's both. So his shift to Europe marked a new phase in his art, while his earlier works focused on South African issues. After moving to Europe, this theme expanded to global issues like terrorism, environmental destruction, and universal fears. He became known for his use of language in his art, creating bold, confrontational statements, and his work began incorporating references to art history, African culture, and even pornography. Kendall Geers' work is intense, it's provocative, and always about challenging established norms and confronting the viewer with uncomfortable truths, whether about South Africa's past or the today's world. So that was Kendall Geers. I really like art like that, contemporary art that is more than just the visual part, but it also has a meaning behind it. As we continue Art Speakers with the song Permission to Malfunction van Matter Unknown.
Bush Radio 89.5 FM, the mother of community radio in Africa.
Bush Radio 89.5. I love this station.
FM.
Yo, speak to me. Can you speak? Speak to yourself. Speak to you? Speak to who? Who are you speaking to? Are you speaking? You speaking? Let's speak about art. Art Speakers on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. The show is almost over, so that means we're at our last segment of today on Art Speakers. It's this week Art Tip of the Week, and it's about light art, one of my favorite art forms. Spear Wine Farm in Stellenbosch is having their annual Spear Light Festival from the 21st of March to the 21st of April. The Stellenbosch farm is transformed into a wonderful landscape with 16 light installations, and you can wander around and explore art and that comes alive in the night. It's free to attend, and the best time to go is at dusk when the sun sets and the lights light up the surroundings. I think it's a nice thing to do as a family activity, and it's totally free. There will also be guided tours on Tuesdays, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7:30, so you can book a spot and enjoy the experience with a local guide. For more info, you can visit www.spear.co.za. And then also a little extra tip. Last week I was at Bree Street in CBD with some friends, and every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are free activities. I went there last Sunday and I really want to go back. Like there's really nice music. People were spraying graffiti, knitting, playing sports, like cycling around, children from the neighborhood. I really like the atmosphere. So that's also a lot of free activities. So this is my art tips of the week. So we've come to our last number, and to close off today's art speakers, we're going out with No Surprises by Radiohead. This song is from their iconic album, OK Computer. The album's artwork was created by Stanley Dunwood, a longtime collaborator of the band. He's been visual mastermind behind many of their album covers, and his work from OK Computer became just as memorable as the music itself. So without further ado, here is No Surprises by Radiohead. No Surprises by Radiohead. This was Art Speakers for this week. I'm Camille, all the way from Belgium. Next up is Quaternity, hosted by Kais. Stay tuned on Bush Radio 89.5 FM. Bye-bye.